Although I was not in attendance at the last committee meeting where you appeared, I watched with interest your testimony where you told members that Stellantis had been the one to propose redactions to you, after which, of course, Stellantis outlined in a strongly worded letter they did not recommend or suggest any redactions to the CIF agreements we received. Today, you come here and say that it was your honest understanding when you provided that testimony to us. You also said today that officials proactively redacted the documents before going to Stellantis. That's very different than what you presented to committee at your first appearance. And my question for you is this: who told you to lie to this committee?
Great, thank you for your question. I'll start by just saying that I've also reflected since my last appearance before you, and it's clear to me that I could have been much clearer about the redaction process, and I regret that the committee was left with a mistaken impression. I certainly had no intention to misrepresent. I am happy today to provide as much clarity as I can and answer those questions. What I can say is that no one asked me to lie. What I represented to the committee, the part that was accurate, is that Stellantis did consent to the redactions that were in the version of the redacted document that was shared with you. What I can also say is that my understanding at the time, which was ultimately incorrect, is I had understood that that Stellantis had initially proposed those redactions.
You understood that. You're the deputy minister. It took Stellantis writing a strongly worded letter in response to what they heard you tell this committee. So we were not only the ones under this mistaken assumption that that you presented to this committee, but it was also Stellantis. Your obligation as a public servant is to Parliament, and yet today you continue to represent the fact that you were simply trying to protect their commercial interests by not presenting this committee with the unredacted documents. In fact, in response to my questions last week, Ms. Perusa actually said they were also the ones who proposed that we be given the unredacted documents. So who told you to refuse an order from this committee after it was unanimously agreed to by all members that we would call for the unredacted documents?
Great, thank you for that question. First I'd say is that the right of parliamentarians to see documents of the kind requested is fundamental to their ability to hold the government, to Parliament, and to Canadians. As part of our regular work, the department does come into possession at infrequent times of confidential information. We are asked at different times to produce those documents. And the process that is typically involved is in...
Mr. Jennings, my question was, who told you not to provide the unredacted documents? It's a simple question. Or were you the one that made that decision as the deputy minister?
The process that we followed was...
I want to know who made the decision, because I'm challenging the process. We're parliamentarians. Actually, I'm going to end there, and I'm going to turn it over to my colleague.
I have exactly the same question. I mean, you make it very clear that your commitment to Stellantis seems to be much stronger than it is to parliamentarians. So I have to ask the exact same question. Who on earth would have told you that you needed to make sure we didn't get to see unredacted documents, which is what was asked for by the entire committee?
So what I can say, which is what I said at my last committee appearance here, was that we try to strike a balance in terms of providing documents that parliamentarians are asking for.
We do have that. We do have that testimony, but what we're looking for now is who would have told you that Stellantis is the one that gets the priority here in this case?
I never said there was a priority.
No, but it seems to be in that
a balance between trying to provide Parliament what it needs with the commercially confidential clauses.
Who would have decided that parliamentarians do not get an unredacted document? That's the basic question here.
No one ever made that decision.
Well, somebody did, because that's what we got.
What we proposed in the letter to this committee was an approach that was adopted in past parliaments where unredacted versions of contracts were shared with parliamentarians. This worked and was accepted by past committees of Indu, Envy, and we were
excuse me, I have very short time.
I
I know you talked about that last time, that, this is how it's been done before. That's not what we asked for at this committee. What we asked for was the unredacted documents, or sorry, the documents that as we needed them. The entire committee asked for that. And you're saying, well, the other committees, they accepted this, so that's why this decision was made. Is that your testimony now?
My testimony is that is what I proposed to this committee.
So you proposed it. You proposed that.
I proposed that through a process of consulting with Stellantis. We both agreed to sharing a redacted version of the contract.
Which put Stellantis ahead of parliamentarians.
Since that time, Stellantis and ourselves have both shared and agreed to share an unredacted version of the contract. The document is fully available to you now.
Yeah.
And we look forward
After we fought like crazy.
to be able to answer any questions.
Sorry, that is our time.